Yo, press record. What's up? You're listening to Zero to X. My name is Daniel, and today with me, as always,
Hey guys, how we doing? It's Amara on the show.
Amara. What's up, man?
Dude, I'm actually really good today. Like
Today,
I'm just thinking about the fact that I've finally been able to achieve work-life balance.
you
I
have
struggled with
Amara is a top 1% of the top 1%. What is work-life balance? Please. What is
dude,
work-life balance,
I
guy? What is
struggled
that?
throughout. I think I said in one of the episodes that I struggled throughout
Yeah, Aden.
January
Yeah,
just because I added managing a YouTube channel and
this
managing a
podcast.
podcast at the
Yeah.
same time. It was a lot to add to my plate. But I think I've achieved that fine line.
Guys,
Yeah.
full disclosure, Amara dragged me like twice in the week, man, because I wasn't meeting up with deliverables because my life is already really boisterous and like
Yeah.
adding managing this, all the work that has to go into it to make it work.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But I like it.
It's a lot, but we like it. But
Yeah,
like there's just that
because it's
understanding.
forcing us
like
to
it's
walk the talk.
What? It's a lot. I haven't still figured it out. That's why I'm like, I'm tapping from Amara's grace. You achieve work-life balance. Must be nice.
Dude,
Must
it
be
is
nice.
It is. I'm looking forward to
Must
the
be
new week. I'm
nice.
looking forward to February. Looking forward to everything February has to offer. So how you doing now?
How am I doing? I have been rather introspective this week. I think a lot. I don't even think me being introspective is news anymore. I think a lot, and I was literally just yesterday evening. I was talking to a friend of mine. We run a studio in my house, and
Okay.
this friend of mine is almost practically like family already at this point. He and my brother Dom manage the studio in the house, and now this come to record and like chill and vibe and like whatnot. So like it's pretty cool. So I was talking to him yesterday about how there seems to be a lot of work, yeah, but it's like, what is all of this work leading to? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I thought about it that okay, and it's weird because you would think that for who the kind of person that you are, like you are more intentional than most other people, or you are
Yeah.
not necessarily comparing yourself to other people. You're a pretty intentional person. You get what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? You would think that, but I then I don't know what made me took stock. There were a couple of things that happened, and they weren't necessarily life changing or altering things. They just maybe the thoughts just came from somewhere, and I pondered upon it. But like a number of things happened, and I found myself thinking about the fact that am I right now in real time positioned in life or prepared to do some of the things I've wanted to do? I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like,
I think
oh,
it does.
I wanted to have done this before at this age. Right now,
Hmm.
if it was to happen right now, can I do it? The answer was no.
Can you do it or can you handle it? Which
Not,
is it?
I think it's a bit of
Because
both.
I want to be sure I'm on the same
You
page
you
with
understand
you.
what I'm saying? Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's a bit of both. Like, okay, you wanted to be. Let me give a. I don't know that a lot of people relate to this example, but let's say when you were younger, you said you wanted to have. Let's look for something a little ephemeral. You wanted to have this particular kind of car by this age.
Okay.
So maybe now you've gotten to that age. Can you buy that car? Can you afford that car? Yeah. Okay, you said you wanted to get married by this particular age.
I want to say something fake.
Yeah. You wanted to get married by this particular age. And maybe for some reason like you're not just yet. But if you're at that age, can you marry? Like, are you able to take on the added responsibility of building a family at this point in time in your life? Yeah. And is it something that you are working towards? Because work, and I think this week, I think a lot naturally. So I saw work in two ways. Work as always just things going in motion. Things in motion, things by default that just have to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to wake up, you have to take meetings, you have to act, you have to action deliverables and like all of that jazz.
Yeah.
Then there is work towards intent. And work towards intent, I find out that the difference between both is intention and purpose. And what that translates to is
Over time.
week on week, month on month, you are measuring and checking. You're not just going through the motions. There's going through the motions, and then there is productive work with the intention of getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, it might seem that the actual day to day of it might be the same, but if you're not careful, to measure against something, you really won't go anywhere. And honestly, I took stock of how what my weeks were turning to, what my days were turning to,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Do you like what it is?
I wasn't liking what it was looking like. There was a
Mm.
lot of busyness, there was a lot of activity,
Hmm.
but it didn't seem like I was. If I continued exactly that way, I don't think I would grow.
Hmm.
I was working, I was busy, I was active. I'm a hard worker. I know how to work
I'm
hard.
very busy.
Do you understand? Amara beg. Guys, Amara dragged me, man. We had to be typing to each other epistles. So it was like, but yeah, it's like, but I looked at it. All that work
Yeah.
might lead to just staying afloat. I don't want to stay afloat, man. I want to go up.
Hmm.
So like there has to be intention, and what that translates to is because you will still get lost in the thick of thin things, like in the everyday to
Yeah,
day.
yeah, I get you.
But every like week in, month out, week in, week out, month in, month out, you have to measure against what it is that you're going. So like
Yeah.
that's why maybe before you start doing something, like because it's your life that's going. It's not just your time that's going,
Yeah.
it's your life.
That's why you also
Literally.
said be selective with what you give. Tell yes and no.
See,
I think you said that in episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, like guy, your default answer should be no.
You are finally learning.
Your default answer should be no. Then maybe think about it a little more. And there was something Stephen Covey said. Yeah, he wrote it was
Seven
he's author of
Habits
Seven
of
Habits of
Highly
Highly Effective People. Another one of the books that we swear by.
We love
We
that book.
swear by. That thing is close to gospel truth. You know what I'm saying? So he said something. It's not about prioritizing your schedule. It's scheduling your priorities. There's a difference between the two. Prioritizing your schedule is like you write all these couple of things down. Then you say which one is important. No, you come to the table knowing what's important. This is important to me. This is important to me. This is important. Then you put. Then maybe you can then fit other things inside. And I know, like again, we say everything is nuanced. Amara, we're making a t-shirt that's saying everything is nuanced.
I would like to wear that t-shirt.
Because it's like, so someone would say, what about like my day-to-day job? Yeah, that's why Amara said something. You might not have the opportunity to live life like on your own terms, doing things you want to do. I think this is back in episode 1 or 2. But it's like you can do an 80-20 split.
Yeah.
80% working on these urgencies and emergencies, 20% working on the things that are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, the things that are proactive work, boring work that drives you forward. And then because you're doing more proactive work, that number starts to reduce. So it started 80-20. Then emergencies become 70, proactive work becomes 30. Then it reduces 60, 40, 50, 50. Before you know it, you're spending more time doing proactive, creative work that will move you forward than routine tasks that really don't give you net progress.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, I've realized that I've been doing a lot of, I won't say meaningless work. There have been a lot of deadlines to me.
I'm happy for the introspection.
Yeah, like it was. I was like, if I keep going this way, exactly this way at this state by January, I might not be as far ahead as I would have wanted to be, and as I could have been. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's one thing to want something and not have the ability to do it. It's worse when you have the ability to do it and then you didn't do it, maybe because you weren't thinking about it as mindful of it as you should have been. So I thought about that and I was like, okay, Amara told me something last week. It was like, Daniel, I need 9 hours to balance my life.
I found the 9 hours.
You find my guy! My guy!
I said in the podcast by saying I found balance. Dude, I squeezed out. So here's how I figured it out. Okay, just to not go into so much detail and bore everybody listening.
Yeah.
I just figured that, naturally I would need to make out 9 hours.
Yeah.
But how about instead of looking for 9 hours, for every 1 hour I make it 1 hour 30.
My guy.
1 hour 45.
100%.
For every 1 hour I can free up, I make 1 hour. That's what I did. And I just kept thinking, like, okay, I have 2 hours and I make it 2 hours.
But that was very controlled, man.
And then over time, the work just dissipated.
That's wild. That's wild.
Guys,
we told you last week or so, the way to do hard things is to not quit.
Bro!
That's exactly what it was, man.
Not because it's easy, but then
you just don't quit. Like,
and the beautiful thing is, you'll be glad you didn't.
Honestly.
You'll be glad you didn't. At the end of it, you'll be glad you didn't.
Honestly.
Yeah. But there was a thing you just said now about when you were talking about the length of time it takes you to have to achieve stuff. And I just remembered a statement by Jack Ma. Guys, Jack Ma is founder of Alibaba.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was this statement. I hope I get the exact quote correct. But I know he said something like, if you think something is going to take you 1 year, make it 3. If you think it's going to take 3, make it 5.
Lord.
And when you say that's the thing. The thing is, I watched another video this week. And in the video, Steve Jobs said something. And I think it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, Steve Jobs.
Okay, guys, everybody knows who Steve Jobs is. I don't have to talk about who Steve. But in case you don't know who Steve Jobs is, founder of Apple, he's late now, but rest his soul. But yeah, he said that life is what we choose to make of it. Like when you think about the entirety of what life is, you just see that everything we live and do on a day-to-day basis was set by people.
100%.
That means we can set what we want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that the beautiful thing about that and how that ties in with what Jack Ma said, because Elon Musk also, guys, I quote people a lot.
We quote people a lot. See, like these are the people that we want to be like. Like, bro, like we got to the point.
Elon Musk is of a sort of contrary opinion. He doesn't really share the idea that you need to, the thing about building habits slowly and gradually. Elon Musk doesn't share that sentiment. Elon Musk shares, he holds a sentiment that says if everybody is putting in 1% every day, definitely it stacks up to 36x at the end of the year. Elon Musk says go 100%.
My God!
I can't quote. I'm sorry, guys. I can't quote about him, but I know I can find it somewhere if I have to. But like he shares a different approach towards the whole life and everything. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, Elon Musk saying you go at 100%. Jack Ma says think about 1, make it 3. And James Clear in Atomic Habits saying 1% every day, stacking up to 36x.
Let me ask
and then Steve Jobs now letting everybody know that you make your life what it is.
At the end of the
day, it is your beliefs about what the outcome would be that would determine.
Because these guys are they're talking from their experiences.
Yeah, everybody's talking from their experiences. Yeah. So guys, that is why everything is nuanced.
Everything is nuanced, man. Everything is nuanced. Everything is nuanced.
Love the quote, but
then I have a question, Amara.
Okay.
How do you, like we said, everything is nuanced, and we said, okay, take from here, figure out what works, experiment, like you have the time and figure it out.
Yeah.
How do you reverse engineer like your way from, let's imagine you have a picture of what you want to be, what you want to be doing at a particular, like age, everything about
point
you
in life.
Yeah, the point in life.
Yeah.
And you look at where you are now. How do you reverse engineer that process from here to there being 5 years time, 10 years time, 30 years time? Okay. I'm gonna calm down and said okay twice.
Grant Cardone.
We quote a lot of people, and we're not sorry actually, but
we're not sorry. We're not sorry. But Grant Cardone said in his book, the 10x rule, that you find that a lot of people have a very high tendency to underestimate the amount of work, the amount of thoughts. The work is the effort. So the amount of work and the amount of thought and probably the amount of time as well.
Agreed.
That it takes. I'm not sure about the time part, but I can remember the thought and the effort part. That a lot of people underestimate the amount of effort and thought that goes into achieving the goals you want to the degree that you want. And if you think about that in line with the question you asked, how do you reverse engineer to get to that point? You realize that, okay, if I want to be, let's say I want to be, Elon is too far.
You.
Bro. Who can we use? Give me.
I don't know who we can give, man.
Okay. Let's say Odun. Odun of Piggyvest. And when I think about Odun, I think about, let's say, position.
Yeah.
Yeah. And achievement, right? And general state of being. Yeah. Let's say you want to be that in 5 years. You would like to be at the top of it, tech.
That's a lot of work.
In fact, I think 5 years is too.
Okay.
Yes, let's use 5 years because again, the point is to show how it is possible to underestimate the amount of work.
And maybe if we can figure out just how much thinking you have to do
to get there,
like all the things you need to consider to be the tech bro.
Yeah, not Texas. Okay. So let's say you want to be that. Usually, at least how I will go about it, because everything is nuanced, how I will go about it and how I think people can consider going about it would be first figure out what does this person's life look like right now? Yeah. What does their health, wealth, relationships, and
work status,
finances, work-life balance, work ethic, what do those things look like right now? And the thing is, you can't get it.
I like that you said that.
Yeah.
Don't go stalking people.
Don't go stalking people, but do as much research as you can do that is freely available on the internet. Yeah. Okay, you figured out that this is what a tech CEO or tech founder or whatever the case is, and this is the life.
Bro. I'm sorry.
You want to cut me short?
No, I'm not cutting you short. I'm not. Let's. I'm trying to see if we can capture what she has done. This piggy bank we're talking about.
It's been like 7 years or 8 years.
It's not just being a tech CEO. It's been literally at the front, like top echelon, the forefront, literally, of finance and technological innovations in Africa for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
It has weight.
It has weight.
There are not a lot of people that we can call in that same sentence. Haystack, Flutterwave. I don't know a lot of fintechs outside Nigeria, but I heard that like there's some really incredible stuff in Egypt, in Kenya. But like
I've heard as
there are not a lot of people we can call in that same.
So it is not child's play.
It's not child's play. It's a lot of work to be Shola, to be Ezra, hosting brunch date every day. You think it's my brunch date, bro? It's not my brunch date.
Anyway,
it's not.
Anyway, so we have. Let's say I have done some fair level of research.
Yeah.
This is one part I thought about when I thought about my goals for the year. Because it's not something you just think about once and forget.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people will say write them down every day. I don't. Everybody to each their own.
Yeah.
So let's not have that conversation.
Yeah.
But I thought about my goals for the year at some point in January, and it dawned on me that if you want to hit, now I mean financial goals. That if I want to hit this goal, I must be like, how do I put it now? Let's say you want to have a certain amount of millions. You must be able to, what's the word that I will use now? You must be able to handle that money the way a millionaire at that level would. I'm trying to go into enough detail.
Yeah.
So the way I will think about this is, where would this money be? What form of
vehicle?
What form of asset class would it be in? Would it be cash? Would it be 100% cash? Would it be split across different asset classes? Is it the ones that can easily be liquidated and the ones that are a lot
essentially
more long-term?
What would they do?
Exactly. How can I be a person who holds on to this amount of cash and is entrusted with this amount of cash because I have these systems in place to not throw it away. And not just throw it away, to also make sure it's not losing value. So it's not enough to have it in cash, because if you leave it in cash, when we have our 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, it doesn't mean so much when you're experiencing inflation and you could buy egg for 15 naira before. Now one egg is 100 naira.
One egg was, please, let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
Nigeria will work. We'll make it work, but let's not go there. Let's not go there.
But here's my point. With those smaller amounts of money, your decisions may not mean so much. But you lost value in your 2,000 naira because you kept it in your bank account. Yeah, that 2,000 naira could buy you. It could buy you a couple of things before. Let's say it could buy you. Let's just assume that it could buy you one. Trying to be conservative.
Maybe
here.
Chicken Republic.
One Chicken Republic meal. And let's say a bottle of water in Chicken Republic.
Yeah.
Now, that same 2,000 naira after 3 months can't buy bottle water anymore. It's just the meal. Cool. If you make that same mistake with that amount of money you want to hold on to at that point, then let's say it is $5 million US, for example.
Stop.
Let's be honest. The $5 million US, you now kept it in the bank.
Oh my God!
And the thing just sat down in the bank and just lost value. And then the $5 million could probably buy you, let's say, 5 houses. Let's say 5 houses in Atlanta. And now we know the kind of houses I'm talking about. So each house is valued at $1 million. Yeah. And now this $5 million can only buy you 3 because he left it in the bank. He did not gain $1. It was just $5 million. You would like to see it. Every day I woke up, just I'm looking at $5 million. Very pretty.
Very pretty. So, I like when I press show balance and he shows me $5 million.
You don't realize that if you want to hold that amount of cash, you must have the systems in place. And I don't mean cash. If you want to hold that amount of money, you must have the systems in place to keep that money. And keep its value. So that's why that saying that says opportunity comes to be prepared is not a joke.
It's not.
Because if you have done the work on yourself, people will feel a lot more comfortable with releasing money to you. So back to reverse engineering, right? Now you have done all of those things, all of the research you could do on Odun, right? The next question is, what are the skills that she has that keep her at that level of operation and separate you from her level of operation? So maybe she's chief investment officer at PiggyVest, for example. Let's just say, Then you start asking yourself, what certifications or what courses or what's
the knowledge gap?
What's the knowledge gap? How do I close that knowledge gap?
What is the skill set?
And that is just one. You may not see the leadership skill. You may not see the communication management. You may not see the communication skill. You may not see the relation. So you need to do. That's why Grant Cardone said it is very easy to underestimate the amount of work.
I see that so clearly.
So So with me and my goals is I had to sit down like, bro, got a lot of work. If you're going to hit this financial goal, you gotta do proper, deep research.
So that nothing really surprises you in the middle of doing it.
You know that thing you said about be and do? Can't remember how you said it. Like you get to that point where if you've closed all of these gaps, if you've done your research as to what is keeping this person at this level of operation, right? And it has taken you, let's say you now estimate that it takes you 5 years to close this gap. Keep in mind that this person is not standing still.
Do you understand? That's so irrelevant.
You're just trying to catch up to where they were 3 years ago.
Do you understand?
You get, or 5 years ago, depending on the length of time you to get there, right? And that's fine, right? So it's a thing where you have to actually lay up what those skills are. Now, Alex Hormozy shed some light on this, and he gave an example. In the example, he talked about, I think, wanting to become like something in the investments sector. I can't remember the exact job
verbatim.
Yeah, the exact profession that he was trying to achieve. But then let's say you started off with studying mathematics at school, and then you realize, oh, Ray Dalio was chief investment officer. And he was chief investment officer at his hedge fund, Bridgewater's, And then you say, okay, cool. I think I studied mathematics. I can take a course on accounting or go to some school and actually get a degree in accounting so that I can use that to apply for finance-related certifications. Let's say a master's or definitely not a PhD. Let's say a master's at least, because then you might need that MBA or whatever the case is. A master's or an MBA, you might need all of those things. to get to the next level, whatever those levels are, you need to know what the levels. Okay, from mathematics to accounting, from accounting to MBA, from MBA to this, from this.
Understand you.
You get, but that's just in skill.
Yeah.
That has not talked about communication skill. That has not talked about leadership skill. That has not talked about relationship skills. That has not talked about, what else could we be missing, guy? Help me.
Like
there's a lot.
It's a lot,
that's
man.
Just the point.
It's a lot that you have to
don't
be thinking about.
In doing this, you can't afford to make the mistake of underestimating. That's the entire point of the book.
That's the point of it. Yeah.
10 times whatever thought. If you think it's going to take you 3 hours of study per day to achieve a certain goal, plan for 30 hours. That's what I know Grant Cardone is extreme. Yeah, and I love the extremity because it shows in his results.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the point is, if you can plan for 10 times the level of input, if you shot for the moon, you must land on the stars at least. At least. Or land on the clouds, whichever one is lower to your own stratosphere.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah, but that's the way I think reverse engineering to hit this kind of goals in 10, 30 years' time will work. First of all, know what is keeping that person and sustaining that person at that level. Favor is not random. Skill sets are not random. Figure out everything that is keeping out that person at that level.
You have to go mad scientist on this.
You need to go mad scientist. You need to go mad scientist. So this person doesn't keep their money in Nigeria. They keep their money completely offshore. That is the discovery. Okay, how can I set up my systems?
Absolutely.
You don't have the resources to set up the system in 1 year. Okay, you plan that it take you 2 years to set up the systems to be able to keep your money offshore. That's fine. It's the little things. But you say that if you do proper research on what it takes you to get there, then you can now estimate the effort and add enough of a buffer. In Grant Cardone's case, 10x of a buffer. Put in 10x of the thought, 10x of the effort to get to those things. And then you will see that if you shoot for the moon, you must land on the cloud.
And we pray land on the moon, shall
we're gunning for the moon, and we must hit the moon.
You're surpassing it, man. Like that's our wish for everyone listening.
Yeah.
So like,
I hope this helps someone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like it definitely gave me some more perspective into actually what I need to do. And Amara is right about the fact that having a model, yet aspire to, especially when you get to learn more about them because like you are more interested in like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I found out that like when I started working at my current company like 2 years ago, working close with the C-suite and with like other senior colleagues who have been, I found out that I started having goals that I didn't think I was going to be having at that time.
Very audacious goals.
Bro. I started having goals.
You just realized, bro, it's like I've not been dreaming enough.
I would not even have known to set those goals, guy.
That's nice.
Like that's like, it's paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like thinking this way now.
Your
like,
association is really important.
Like it's really important. Like modeling, like who you're modeling after, like your associations is absolutely, absolutely important. Making sure. I like what Amara said about like systems, like knowing the systems that the person has put in place in their lives to achieve certain
keeping
things.
Them there. They're not there by mistake.
They're not there by mistake. I promise.
Things are working.
They're not there by mistake.
Things are working for them on a minute by minute basis.
Yeah.
It's wild, bro.
It's wild.
It's wild.
So, the same conversation I was having with my friend that I told you about that made me like think like was the result of me thinking over the week, introspecting. He said someone told you something. He said, success is not a function of time, it's a function of moves. The things you do.
Yeah.
It's not about work.
Yeah.
It's about the moves you're making. So like, and it made so much sense to me as as someone who likes basketball.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it. It's crunch time. You have like 10 seconds on the clock, or you have 7 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
That's lockdown defense, man. Like you're not getting past. All of a sudden, your coach calls timeout, and there is a very specific play he's going to tell you to do, and most of the time, if you do it, it works.
Yeah.
That's not the normal basketball. It's not the normal thing you play. It's not the normal system you play, whether it's whatever system it is. I can't really like remember the name. So it's not the normal playbook. Like those are special plays for special circumstances.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Or let's say you want to beat this particularly difficult defender. Yeah. You are trying to run, he's not going past. You have to do what? Bust a move. That will shake that defender. Then you go to where you like. It made so much sense to me because of basketball. Like, I don't know that a lot of people might share the context, really but but it's about the fact that you have to, you know how they say you have to do something you've not done before to get something you've not had before.
Yes.
That's exactly the example.
Yes.
So, and that made a lot of sense to me. Success is a matter of moves.
Yeah.
Because if you just keep on going with the same current, you will just be floating, you will just be adrift. Like, you're not necessarily going anywhere.
Yeah.
By the time you start, what did they say? They're making moves. When you start making moves directed at something, you would find, and you can track that on a week-by-week basis, on a month-by-month basis, on a quarter-by-quarter basis.
Yeah.
You will find out that you're actually going somewhere.
Yeah.
You are actually going somewhere. That's why, like, thoughtful action is really, really good. Obviously, action is better than doing nothing at all, than paralysis analysis, just thinking and overanalyzing.
Definitely.
But thoughtful action is really thoughtful action that you execute relentlessly on, brother. You're like, nah, forget it. Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. Absolutely forget it. But that's it, man. Like, guys, like, it's our goal. It's our wish. Amara and I were talking earlier today, and we're like thinking, because we think about you guys a lot, like the guys that are listening to this podcast.
Yes,
like,
we do.
We like, the whole point of this was, we hope people find this interesting enough to make it a part of their lives and inspiring them to reach for greatness. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And we're thinking of possibly doing a live event where, like, we actually do the podcast with like 100 or 500 or 1,000 of you that want to have like this conversation like in real time.
Yeah.
It could be this year, it could be next year, like whatever it is. But we're rooting for your success, guys. We are rooting for your success. We're rooting for your success. Like, we want to share your stories like in a year or two. Even right now, like your tiny wins, man. Like you having the courage enough to go for that promotion because like you're more intentional about it and you are taking things into your hands. Like, that's what we want to hear. Yeah. You taking the bold decision to switch career paths. You know what I'm trying to say? You intentionally doing more with relationships, networking, getting to know people, building your network. We want to hear all these things, guys. We want to hear all these things. And we're waiting for you. And we're thinking of you. That's what we want you to know. We are thinking of you so much.
As usual, we always hope that these episodes and these sessions add value to you in one way, form, or shape.
Yeah.
That's just always our hope.
Yeah. But right now, we have to call it here.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for taking your time, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.